to Carroll Consultancy Group's Snack Bite training series. And today we have the fortune of having Mr. Lee Baxter with us, South African goalkeeper head coach, former professional player. We are interviewing Lee today because we want to find out how do elite athletes really perform under pressure. We're going to focus on performance and what is it that professional athletes do to get the best out of themselves under pressure, performing when they really need to the most, and doing that consistently. So there's no one better to have a chat to about that than Mr. Baxter. So Lee, awesome to have you here, mate.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So look, mate, we're in a wartime position right now. You know, the economy is retracted. We're all finding ourselves at home. Countries' GDPs are evaporating rapidly, and businesses are under threat. So, you know, it's like being in a wartime zone. And I was reflecting that every time you're out there on the field competing against another team, it's a mini battle of its own. And you're pretty used to performing under pressure and performing in that battle in the heat of the moment. And a lot of leaders around the world right now are under pressures that they've never been under before in their lives. And so I was thinking it would be valuable for us to have a quick chat about, you know, how do you prepare your players for battle? How do you prepare them to perform under pressure and in the heat of the moment, so that we could translate that into the workforce and see if we can help some leaders. So I'm going to open it up for you to share some of your secrets of success, mate. That'd be just great.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. So in a normal working environment, if we're talking like outside of lockdown for us, there's a few pillars that we base all our work on. It's the technical work that we do, the physical work, the tactical, the social, and the psychological. So we have those like 5 pillars that we do everything, and all those 5 things should really play into each other on some level. So if an exercise is extremely physically demanding, then you don't expect the guys to be interacting so much on a social level, because they're more focused on, you know, just taking care of their own mind body sort of presence, if you will. That was just a brief explanation, but preparation for that in all those areas is like, for us, that is the key. So you prepare the guys, the physical loading, you prepare the technical work that you're going to do based on what the tactical game is, and then you've got the psychological and social on top of that, and they all go hand in hand. So that kind of preparation for the guys is really important.
Well, that's excellent, mate. So for leadership in the business world, they could also apply that. They can look at, you know, the social side, work-life balance, family. The technical side is, you know, around, you know, what is it that they need to be experts at? The tactical side is in business, and, you know, what tactical decisions you need to make. The psychological side is what mindset you need to succeed. And the physical side, you need to treat yourself like a professional athlete and have a physical body that is going to be able to perform under pressure when needed. So I think those 5 areas are huge for leaders to help them to get the best out of themselves. Awesome ideas. What other tips have you got in regards to how do you prepare your players for the battle and the heat of the moment and to perform out of their minds there?
I think there's two sides to it. There's the one side when we're in our home environment just training. Then there's the game, and you're playing against different players and, you know, different qualities from what you've got in your home environment. I think preparing the guys for eventual outcomes is really important. You're playing against a team, a specialist. You're playing against a team that defend in a certain manner, or they're extremely aggressive, or you know, it just trends that the opposition has, and we scout that game in, game out, and break it down into bite-sized pieces and produce video analysis for the players to look at, so they get a mental picture of things, and then we go out and practice that physically on the field. And then also talk about, remember that situation when, or ask questions of, you remember then when that gets to player, what is his favourite, to do thing, and then they sort of like self-analyze the situation and see the outcome before they actually do it. So that's just one of the things. It's
that's a huge one actually, because I remember reading the book Legacy. It's what the All Blacks can teach us about the business of life, and the All Blacks had a pattern that they weren't able to step up at the World Championships and at the World Cup and win under the performance or under the heat. They'd collapse under the pressure in the quarters or semis or finals. And one of the big things that they trained up in there was, how to really learn to perform when the heat is on. And so they do exactly what you just talked about, which was imagine the worst case scenarios that could happen and make sure that you visualize that and you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for that. So when it comes, you can respond and you know how to handle that. You've been there and done it before. And I think, leaders in business, I think that's exactly what they can do is use the power of visualization, a wonderful sports psychology technique, to imagine situations, circumstances, and scenarios where, they could be under intense pressure and work out ways to handle that, how to make the right decision or how to perform in that moment. So do you guys do that positively as well? Like, do you, imagine positive outcomes and visualize that too?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, it's important for us to, so before going into a game, there'll be a block of video analysis where I will show only positive reinforcement clips from things that we've worked on.
Wow.
And it can be against different opposition to the one that we're going to play against, but it's reaffirming to the guys the great work that they've done, and that it's not just by accident that it's happened.
Yeah,
it's a mannerism that's practiced over and over and over, and then they fine tune it all the time. And I think when you bring them back to being like super present around those things, then it just creates a force moving forward into the next game.
Yeah.
So that when they step on the field, they already feel like they've well, let me rephrase that. To win a game, you can't just go out on the field and win it. You have to, before the game, win it, and during the game, win it, and then after the game, you carry it with you. So it's I'm going to talk in a total different phrase now, because when I was younger, I used to do Thai boxing.
Right.
And the coach that I had was a Thai boxer. He said, your game plan, you have to impose on the opposition so that they break to your game plan and then take on your game plan. So you know exactly what they're going to do, and then you just crush them.
Right.
So it's a bit more aggressive approach, but that imposing your will, it's a practice. You have to practice it.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I think that's exactly what happened to the All Blacks in the semi-finals of the recent World Cup. England opposed their game plan on the All Blacks, and with such intense pressure that the All Blacks collapsed. And I think if we apply that to leadership and tactics within leadership, if you're going to be aggressive in business, then you can do the same thing. Apply that to an aggressive game plan and impose it, on the competition. Look, there's another thing that just quickly I wanted to touch on before we wrap up, and that was handling adversity, mate. There's a lot of challenges in the marketplace right now, a lot of challenges for leaders and their people. What do you guys do when the pressure comes on and their game plan is being imposed upon you? Or the adversity comes in, how do you guys handle that?
So hopefully we've been that on the ball that we can pick up that trend in opposition So if we play against an opposition that is extremely aggressive or likes to change things during the course of the game, like a system, for example, they'll play with a 4-man defense, and then all of a sudden they'll change to 3 with 5 across the midfield, and then you'll be like, okay, we knew that this was going to happen, we prepared for it, and then you can also become like, you can adapt very quickly. Usually you'll see players on the field shouting out towards the bench to the coach, they've changed to this, this and this, what do you want me to do? And then it becomes a bit of an on-the-spot coaching.
Got it.
And the other thing is that there comes a point where you've got to say, well, I can only control this. This is what I can control. And, you know, the best players and coaches that I've worked with, they revert back to basics if things aren't going in the sort of planned manner. They revert back to all the ABC things that make the machine tick. So,
so keep it. They go back to keeping it simple. Yeah.
Really,
awesome.
Really simple.
Awesome. So if we summarize our chat, man, time flies. 10 minutes, 12 minutes, disappears in a heartbeat. We're going to have a longer chat, mate. That's for sure. Yeah. So how do you prepare your players for battle? How do you prepare them to perform under pressure? And how do you handle adversity? You know, it comes back a lot to preparation from what I can hear you saying there is that preparation is the mother of all performance. And when you're super prepared in those 5 areas that you talked about, physical, mental, technical, tactical, and social, and they all influence each other, then, you know, you've got a really good game plan. I think imposing your game plan on others, being aggressive is important. If you're on the back foot, you know, focusing in on what you can control, going back to the basics and really keeping it simple and then building up from there. And I think the last thing there that was really powerful, mate, was preparing for eventual outcomes before they happen. And that you're winning, you've got to bring this winning mindset to everything that you do. So it's not just winning on the field, you're winning off the field, and you're visualizing negative and positive outcomes. It'd be classic if we could video and analyze a leader and their team, film them through the day. It would be classic. But yeah, awesome, mate. Awesome stuff.
Business concept there.
Say that again, mate.
You think you might have a business concept there?
Yeah, exactly. We might bring that to the game plan. All right, mate. That was awesome. So, secrets of success with Lee Baxter on how to perform, how to get the best out of your players, and how to get them to really perform in the heat of the battle. Awesome stuff, mate. Bam. And let's get together for the next subject. We're gonna have a couple of more sessions with you. Look forward to those. And thanks for your time today, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Bye for now.